The energy blast tore through the crystalline corridors of the Zephyrian research station, sending fragments of blue-tinted metal cascading like deadly rain. Kanat pressed his back against the wall, his human-made plasma rifle humming with depleted energy cells. The invasion had come without warning. Korthak raiders, notorious throughout the galaxy for their brutality and their particular hatred of peaceful research colonies. Beside him, Malice trembled, her violet skin pale with terror. The young Zephyrian scientist had been showing him the station's xenobiology labs when the attack began. Her large, opalescent eyes, so different from human eyes yet somehow expressing the same fear, darted between the corridor ahead and Kanat's face. "The evacuation pods are just around the corner," she whispered, her melodic voice barely audible over the distant sounds of battle. "We can make it if we run now." Kanat nodded, checking his rifle's charge indicator. 15% remaining. Not much, but it would have to do. He had volunteered for this cultural exchange program between Earth and the Zephyrian Collective, specifically because he believed in building bridges between species. Never had he imagined he'd be fighting to protect those bridges with his life. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the main corridor. Multiple sets moving with military precision. Kanat held up his hand, signaling Malice to stay quiet. Through the transparent aluminum viewing port, he could see them. 3 Korthak soldiers in their distinctive black armor, energy weapons sweeping methodically as they advanced. "Human presence detected on this level," one of them growled in broken galactic standard. "The Collective's pet apes think they can hide among civilized species." Kanat's jaw tightened. He'd heard this rhetoric before. Many of the older galactic civilizations viewed humanity as primitive newcomers, barely worthy of acknowledgement. The Korthaks took it further. They saw humans as an invasive species that needed to be eliminated before they could spread their chaos throughout the galaxy. Malice touched his arm gently. "There's another way," she whispered. "The maintenance shaft leads directly to—" A plasma bolt seared past the viewing port, melting the wall inches from Kanat's head. They'd been spotted. "Run!" he shouted, pushing Malice ahead of him as the corridor erupted in weapons fire. They sprinted toward the evacuation pods, Malice's crystalline hair streaming behind her like liquid starlight. Kanat turned periodically to fire suppressing shots, his rifle's energy depleting with each blast. The Korthaks pursued relentlessly, their heavy armor allowing them to shrug off near misses that would have dropped lighter opponents. They rounded the final corner to find the evacuation bay doors sealed shut. Emergency lockdown protocols had trapped them. Malice frantically worked at the control panel while Kanat took position, using an overturned maintenance cart as cover. "The system's damaged," she called out, her voice cracking with desperation. "I need at least 2 minutes to bypass the security protocols." Kanat glanced at his rifle. 5% charge remaining. The footsteps were getting closer. "You'll have them," he said simply. The first Korthak rounded the corner, firing, his energy rifle painting the walls with superheated plasma. Kanat returned fire, scoring a lucky hit on the alien's weapon that sent it spinning from his grasp. But 2 more soldiers immediately filled the gap, their weapons trained on the makeshift barricade. Time seemed to slow as Kanat saw one of the Korthaks pull something from his belt, a compact silver sphere with pulsing red indicators. An ion grenade. In the confined space of the corridor, its electromagnetic pulse would fry every electronic system in a 50-meter radius, including Malice's delicate nervous system. The Zephyrians were energy-based life forms, their consciousness sustained by bioelectric fields that an ion grenade would disrupt permanently. It wouldn't just kill her, it would erase her very essence. The Korthak's arm drew back to throw. Kanat didn't think. Humans, he'd been told by countless alien anthropologists, were prone to irrational decisions driven by primitive emotional responses. They were right. He vaulted over the barricade. The ion grenade left the Korthak's hand in a perfect arc. Kanat tracked its trajectory. His enhanced reflexes, a product of Earth's higher gravity and more dangerous evolutionary environment, calculating intercept vectors faster than his conscious mind could process. He dove forward, arms outstretched. The grenade struck his chest with enough force to crack ribs. Kanat wrapped his arms around it and twisted away from Malice, his body acting as a shield. The electromagnetic pulse detonated against his torso in a blinding flash of artificial lightning. Every nerve in his body screamed as millions of volts coursed through him. His heart stopped, restarted, stopped again. His enhanced human physiology, designed to survive in Earth's harsh environment, fought desperately against the electrical assault. Consciousness fled like shadows before a supernova. The last thing he heard was Malley's screaming his name. Kanat awoke to the soft hum of medical equipment and the sensation of cool gel against his skin. His vision cleared slowly, revealing faces hovering over him, but not human faces. Elongated skulls with silver skin, large black eyes, and delicate features that seemed almost ethereal. Zephyrian medics. "He's regaining consciousness," one of them said in their musical language. "Remarkable. The ion discharge should have stopped his cardiac functions permanently." "Human physiology continues to surprise us," another replied. "Their redundant organ systems and enhanced cellular repair mechanisms are unlike anything we've catalogued." Kanat tried to speak, but only managed a hoarse whisper. "Malice?" A familiar voice answered from beside his bed. "I'm here." Malice appeared in his peripheral vision, her violet skin now healthy and vibrant. "You saved me. You saved all of us. The evacuation pods activated the moment you destroyed that grenade. The Korthax retreated when the collective defense fleet arrived," she said, her opalescent eyes shimmering with what he recognized as tears. "But Kanat, what you did, no other species would have attempted it. The probability of survival was less than 3%. One of the medics leaned forward. "Your species' capacity for self-sacrifice in defense of others is unprecedented in our records. The Korthax understand only strength and dominance. They couldn't comprehend why you would risk obliteration for someone not of your own kind." Kanat managed a weak smile. "That's what makes us human, I guess. We're too stubborn to know when something's impossible." Malice squeezed his hand gently. "The Collective Council is already drafting new alliance proposals with Earth. What you did today, one human protecting one Zephyrian, has changed everything. They want to understand a species capable of such irrational nobility." "Irrational?" Kanat chuckled, though it made his chest ache. "Maybe, but sometimes the galaxy needs a little human irrationality." As he drifted back toward healing sleep, Kanat reflected on humanity's place among the stars. They might be newcomers, might be primitive by some standards, but they brought something unique to the galactic community. The absolute refusal to abandon those who needed protecting, regardless of the cost. Perhaps that wasn't such a primitive trait after all. Outside the medical bay's viewport, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, as if the galaxy itself had learned something new about courage, sacrifice, and the indomitable human spirit that refused to yield, even in the face of impossible odds.